message is, you know, global environmental problems are very serious, and people often think that you can't solve them with just local actions. But we believe that taking action is the first step to making solutions to these problems. Inaction is what allows these problems to continue to happen. So that's why what we do is we believe in collective action, and we do it every single day of the week. It's really amazing. I just toured the bees. I toured the garden in the back, and as you all know, the volunteers know that this is a much bigger program than just what we see here. Eric's reach and his volunteers' reach go far and beyond here, and he's not only teaching people and feeding people, but really seeing the importance of growing things and really educating folks.
Welcome back to Life and Living. You know, it's rare that I have the opportunity to sit down with a young person who's as motivated, as dynamic, as civic-minded as the young man I'm about to introduce you to. He's Eric Fuchs-Stengel. He's the executive director and founder of Mahwah Environmental Volunteers Organization, MEVO for short. It's right there on your shirt. What is MEVO?
MEVO is an environmental not-for-profit organization based in northern New Jersey, out of Mahwah, New Jersey. We've been operating in the region for about 7 years, and we're entirely led by youth volunteers.
I hate to call attention to your age,
yeah.
But you're young. You're young still, and that's a wonderful thing. How did you start this organization?
So I started when I was 16 years old. I was in high school at the time. A group of my best friends and I enjoyed hiking at the Roundpa Reservation in Mahwah, and we'd spent our entire summer outdoors, climbing rocks, swimming in lakes, being outdoors, and being involved in nature, in the natural world. And we noticed that there was a problem. We noticed that everywhere we went in the Roundpa Reservation, there was garbage, bottles, cans, clothing, Tupperware. And we decided to start MEVO, the Mahwah Environmental Volunteers Organization, as a group to clean up the forest that we love to explore.
You started this with your friends?
Yes,
got a group of people together just to say, hey, listen, you know, you might not be into this, but we really are. We need your help. Come help us.
Definitely, definitely. And you know, at the beginning it was just my best buddies in high school. And as time went on, we got a lot more people involved, a lot more students, even older folks, adults, and now we've grown substantially since then.
So you broke for a little while when you went to college?
Yeah, kind of. So like, you know, my dream when I went to college was that I'd pass MEVO on to other high school students, and forever it would be this like great high school program, which is what I did. But once I got to college, we realized that MEVO had a real potential to help a lot more people if I stayed with it longer. So I wound up staying with it, coming back to it, and helping all the high school students we had involved really grow it to a much bigger organization.
What is MEVO's main mission now? You've expanded past just cleaning up the reservoir.
So our mission is to show people a model for ecological solutions. And what that means is to show people how you can make your community anywhere in the United States of America sustainable. And sustainability to us means the interconnections of social, economic, and environmental forces in society. And when these forces work together, that leads to a better future for future generations, our children and grandchildren.
Break down what that means. Those three forces. Break down what each of them is tangibly.
So the notion would be like, a lot of people assume economics works against environmental protection, for example, or social programs works against environmental programs. You have to fund one or not the other. Our idea is to find ways that these different systems interact in society and figure out a way to make them all work together so that we create a better future. For example, we build farms, organic farms, and we grow food on donated land, which is usually donated by either a not-for-profit or a for-profit company. The food that we grow, we then donate to hunger organizations to feed people who can't afford food. So we're working with sometimes a for-profit venture to let us borrow their property, and they're donating that resource to grow food. For instance,
I'm sorry to interrupt. For instance, Bergen Community College has recently donated land to you.
Yes, totally.
Was it polluted land?
Yes. So in 2011, we got our very first piece of land, which was at Bergen Community College, which was an amazing gift for them to give to us.
They saw the good work that you were doing and said, hey, we have land available, or you reached out to them?
Yeah, so how do I best describe this? I reached out to them. You know, it's really funny. Actually, how do I best put this, actually? I reached out to them, but we also had a professor at Bergen Community College that insisted that I reach out. She showed us a piece of property at Bergen Community College campus and said, you guys can take this and build a huge farm on it. Then, once we started working there, we realized that we had to, you know, this professor can't just give us Bergen Community College's property. You know, we can't just show up on someone else's property and start growing on it.
So you had to make it official.
Yes. And so the nice thing was we didn't know if Bergen Community College would be willing. And it turned out that they were not only willing, but they've supported us 10 times since then.
How are you growing on polluted land? How does that work?
Yeah, so the property is what's called illegal dumping. It was a wetlands that was filled in by construction fill and a lot of polluted materials. Then it was planted on with sod or grass. And so we actually grow above ground in containers, hundreds of them, and we grow food that is, like I said, now donated.
Okay, so you bring the foods that you grow to families in need.
Yep.
That's connecting the social aspect of
Definitely.
it, right? So how are you doing that? I mean, as a volunteer organization with you're only volunteer based, is it true you're the only employee?
I am the only employee, and I'm paid 2 days a week right now, so.
Awesome,
yeah.
So you're bare bones.
Oh, yes.
So how are you doing what you're doing?
So we work with two not-for-profit organizations. One is called the Center for Food Action. They're based all over northern New Jersey. I'm sure you've heard of them. And one is called Table to Table. Table to Table is a great group because we actually just recently started partnering with them this past year. We grow a ton of food, tons of produce. We harvest it all in one day. We call them up. They show up with their truck. We pack it into the truck and they bring it to the food organization that needs it.
Partnerships are huge for you, aren't they?
Huge, huge.
Mary Pat Christie happened to notice your work.
Yes.
She came down and visited the farm at Bergen Community College and named you a New Jersey hero.
Yes, she did.
And that came with an award of $7,500.
You got it.
Is that more than double your annual budget?
Yes, so last year, beginning of 2014, we had about $5,000 in the bank. And when we got that donation from Mrs. Christie, it actually was a lot of money for us. And after winning that award, many corporate groups, different donators came out and actually started to donate because they saw Mrs. Christie recognizing our work.
And new partnership with United Water.
Yes.
That I know is taking you to the next level. United Water has come on to support your work. How?
So United Water reached out to us and they said that they heard about our efforts and our work, and they're a water company and they have a value for clean drinking water, and clean communities. And they supported us first with volunteers. They came out with tons and tons of people. They helped us build a huge fence at our farm at Bergen Community College, actually. And in a day, they built this massive fence with their employees and staff that, if we were going to build it with our volunteers, it would have taken us weeks. Then they brought out trucks and tractors, equipment, and then eventually wound up also donating a substantial amount of money to us.
Where's Mevo headed?
Mevo is headed to build another farm. Locally, we're headed to build a 2-acre farm. I'm building a 2-acre farm in Mahwah, New Jersey, which is going to be the biggest farm we've ever built and help thousands and thousands of residents throughout the North Jersey area. Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you could keep going for a long time.
I could go forever.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time,
No
but
problem.
we're going to come back. We're going to check in with you in a little bit because I have no doubt that you're going to make huge strides in between now and whenever we next talk to you.
Thank you.
A month even. I told you, dynamic, motivated, civic-minded. It doesn't get better than this. Eric Fuchs-Stengel, Executive Director and Founder, Mahwah Environmental Volunteers Organization. I encourage our viewers to get out there and support because it is all volunteers. Thank you, Eric.
Life and Living has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of Life and Living with Joanna Gagis has been provided by New Jersey Sharing Network, the Mental Health Association in New Jersey, Verizon Communications, Johnson & Johnson, Cone Resnick, United Airlines, and by the Russell Berry Foundation. Life and Living with Joanna Gagis has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.